Okay, this video is going to get me in a little trouble. I'm buckled up, and I suggest you do as well. Ready? Okay, let's go. America is the land of opportunity. And you know what? I believe that. And I believe that wholeheartedly. But how equally spread is the opportunity across all of America's citizens? That's what today's video is about. There was a study done in 2018 and released by Economics Magazine that talked about the likelihood of moving social economic classes. And they broke the United States citizenry into 5 different classes, right? You've got your lower middle class people that are in poverty, your kind of middle, lower financially, your middle group, and then you've got your upper middle group, and then your wealthy group. And in a perfect world, if there's 5 different categories, each citizen, the likelihood of living their lives and ending up in one of those categories would be about 20% each, right? That makes sense. If it was perfectly equal, we all had the same opportunities. And this is not a complaining video, so stick with me. And stick with me to the end, because I'm going to share with you what the likelihood is of somebody in the lower classes moving to the upper classes. Most Americans would guess, according to a survey, would guess that likelihood is 12%. Again, randomness would say 20%, right? So let's go for a walk and we're going to talk about it. And this is not a rant about, you know, America's unequal. I definitely think there's some structural challenges. And I grew up not in the lower, we were above poverty. But neither of my parents ever made more than double minimum wage their entire life. And I'm the first person in my family to go to and graduate from college. And even then, it took a military scholarship for me to be able to do that. So thank you, U.S. Army, for helping me out there. Okay, so this isn't about structural challenges. This is about internal challenges, habits that we might all have that maybe are making it harder for ourselves to achieve the financial goals that we want to achieve. And we're going to talk about 5 habits that might be holding us back. And remember, stay to the end, because I'm going to share with you what the likelihood is of somebody moving a social class during their lifetime. And it's lower than you think, unfortunately. Okay, the first habit is, I think, spending to impress. You know, when you grow up without having some of the niceties of some of your friends, it's just natural to say, you know what, I want to buy this car, I want to buy this nice outfit, and kind of do things to impress your friends. That can be a costly mistake, and unfortunately, it's a hard habit to break. But that's the first one I want to talk about. The second one I want to talk about is kind of what I call this guilt and shame cycle. So, you know, I said earlier, you know, when you grew up without some of the toys and the stuff that your friends had, it's just natural to say, oh, you know, I've got this expensive pair of tennis shoes now, or look at me, I've got this nice car. But the problem is, after you make that purchase, you enter this guilt and shame cycle, really, that can be hard to break. So first is spending to impress, and then after you do that, realizing it's not impressing anybody, and then feeling guilty and shameful for it. And that can just lead to, you know, wanting something else to relieve that pain. And in all full candor, that's my biggest regret with raising my daughters from a financial literacy standpoint. You know, I so ingrained the importance of saving money and investing money when they were young. I hate to say it, but when they spend money, they do feel guilty for it. And I wish they didn't. But, you know, I had to learn to overcome that. And unfortunately, they're going to have to learn to overcome that as well. If you want a tool to help you overcome that, there's a great book that's called Solve for Happy by an author by the name of Mo Gawdat, G-A-W-D-A-T. Solve for Happy. It's a great book. I've recommended it here several times before. Okay, I'm going to keep going, but before I get to number 3, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor, as the kids say, thumbs for like and subs for love, and comments for me, comments for Azul. I love reading your comments, so leave me some comments. Okay, number 3 is not hanging around people that are going to help you achieve your goals. They say that you are the average of the 6 people that you hang around with the most. And I think that's 100% true. I've definitely seen that in my life. When I was younger, I was hanging around with some people that had very different goals than me. And that held me back. So trying to build a circle of friends that are like-minded. And, you know, one way to do that is, you know, if you've got financial goals, if you want to level up your skills so that you can make more money, you know, going to the local community college and taking some classes there, you're likely going to meet some other people that have similar goals. Also, not all of your friends have to be in the real world, right? You can have maybe you take an online course and you meet some people there and stay in contact with them, you know, get their contact information when you're going through the course, and stay in contact with them, because some of my friends that motivate me the most are friends that I made online through some courses. So definitely think about who you're spending time with and can you level up there as well. The fourth one that a lot of folks have, particularly if you grew up without money, it could seem almost irrelevant, but having a plan is so important. I had my first financial plan done when I was 22 years old, and you know what? That made a huge, huge difference. It's hard to hit your goals if you don't know what your goals are. And there's the old adage, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And unfortunately, it's true. So definitely get a plan. I recommend you work with a fee-only financial advisor. Maybe early in your life, you can set up those targets yourself. But I probably got 100x the value from the first financial plan that I had put together. And I think you will as well. So look for a fee-only financial planner and consider doing that. Okay, next one is not invest. A next habit that might be holding you back, that if you overcame this, I think you have a higher likelihood of moving into the financial class that you want to be. And that is being willing to invest in yourself. Too often when you grow up without a whole heck of a lot of extra money, boy, it's really hard to spend $500 or $1,000 on a course. And I don't think you should start that way. I don't think you should start with the $1,000 course. I tell my daughters, I tell my clients, it's book, almost like hook, jab, 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 hook for the knockout punch. And I tell my clients, I tell my friends, it's book, 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 and then the knockout punch is taking a course. So do all the free stuff that you can just to make sure that this is an area that you're interested in. Listen to podcasts. I'm a big Audible person. It's not sponsored by Audible, but Jeff Bezos, if you want to sponsor this channel, I'd be happy to be sponsored by Audible. But I listen to a lot of books on tape. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. Good for you, you're watching this YouTube video. You might say I'm a little biased, but I think this is a good channel for you to watch. So do all of the free stuff, or you know, the $20 stuff first. And if you still find yourself passionate in that topic, if you still find yourself drawn to it, if you want to transform your life, right? It's not enough just to have knowledge. You want to, at some point, you want to transform your life. Like I took a course to learn how to do YouTube, but I watched a ton of free videos first. And then I said, okay, I want to transform my life. Actually, I never thought I'd be able to launch a YouTube channel, but that's a topic for another day. So, you know, just investing in yourself, I want to encourage you to do that. Okay, I shared with you that I was going to talk about what the statistics are. How hard is it to move social economic classes? Remember, in a perfect world, anybody in any of these quintiles, right? And by definition, a quintile, there's going to be 20% of the people in each quintile. We'd all have an equal likelihood of ending up in any of those quintiles. So to get into the upper quintiles, in theory, it should be 20% for each of those segments. Most Americans would say it's about 12%. So if you were born in the lower 2 quintiles, how likely is it that during your life you're going to move into the upper 2 quintiles? It should be 20%. Americans would guess 12%, but the actual number, 7.5%. And part of that is the habits that are holding us back. And admittedly, part of it is there are some structural challenges that the United States is still dealing with that makes it harder for people. But I hope, as far as the habits goes, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, I know you're going to find this video up here helpful, which talks about the average income that Americans over 65 have in retirement, and this video down here, which talks about 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.